This is a demonstration of dynamic support and resistance from TradeStrat. I developed this indicator because I was used to looking at daily pivots, weekly pivots, monthly pivots on my intraday charts and pivot points, and ended up with too many lines in my chart and really got tired of just trying to decide which was best. So I developed this. It's a completely automated support and resistance indicator based on higher time frame charts. These bigger lines here are from longer time frame charts. We're looking at the S&P E-mini 1500 tick chart of today. I'm going to show you the last several days. Just so you know, there's no cherry picking going on or anything like that when I show you these charts. I want to show you everything. So basically you've got higher time frame resistance with the thicker lines, and on the thinner lines that's shorter time frame intraday levels. All of these larger lines will show up right at the market open. They are based on longer term charts. They're based on, it's not pivots, it's not Fibonacci, it is just support and resistance that shows up and has triggered in the past with momentum, with enough momentum that it stopped a move prior. So it's not every pivot that occurs, it's not pivot points. Other thing to note is that once price comes up to these levels and trades through them, they disappear. So you don't have too many lines on your chart. Every time it's been neutralized, it goes away. With the exception of the opening support and resistance, that stays throughout the day because price does tend to return to the open and bounce around there. I just want a reference of that. And then also the intraday levels, I'm going to scroll back a little bit, remain throughout the day as well, because those tend to get tested a few times. Prior day on the ES, day before that. The intraday levels don't show up. You can see these are wider. They don't show up till about an hour in, and they are based on where price opens and how much volatility there is. So you can see that's a wider support and resistance for that day. And on this day, let me show you a tighter one. This day it's much tighter. So anyway, let me slowly go back. This was today, yesterday, day before, wider range day. You can see this is a good example of price stopping. And once it trades through that, the line disappears. If there is confluence, you'll have a heavier line. The line will have a darker color to it. This line right here had a few different days where price had stopped there, so it was a darker line. So very straightforward, simple system. Way of looking at support and resistance. Keeps your charts nice and clean. A few more days here and I'll switch to another chart. Scrunch this up. There's a lot going on that day. So now let me switch over to, here's a 640 tick chart of crude oil. Same thing, this is today's trading. I'm going to show you the last several days. And you can see here there was a more confluence on this red line here. It's a darker red. Go back another day here. Here the intraday levels kicked in a lot more. The opening range, because the opening range had less volatility. Here's a wider range day, and again you can see once the levels are broken they disappear unless it's intraday. So you can see price respecting these prices on crude oil as well. Very, very simple, straightforward interface. Here's stocks, Oracle. Here you can see this is a heavier level of resistance, darker line, but you also have the lighter lines, intraday lines on stocks. And right here is the euro. Again, we're looking at today. I'll make that bigger. And I dropped on the CCI trendline break indicator to show you I never trade off of just one indicator at all. I look for confluence. So this is a good example of having a CCI trendline break right here at the open, and some resistance levels and price dropping off. After that, you see another a bounce off this intraday level and a indicator, another trend line break. So a couple of really nice trades there. And I will scroll back a few days as well. It's prior day. And really explosive day here. This is another day where there was a lot of not a lot of volatility at the open, so you get more intraday lines. And here's an example of confluence. A couple of days of resistance right here and an indicator. This is a CCI cross. Go back a few more days, scrunch this one up a little bit, see it a little bit easier. You can see how once price breaks through these levels, the lines go away. Gives you a cleaner view towards the end of the day. Go back a few more days here. So nice clean charts without having a million lines from a lot of different reference points. You can also take off the intraday. Let me go to a day where there was a lot of intraday signals. If you want to just remove intraday, you just right click on the chart, select indicators. I'll go through all the settings here while I'm here. To turn off the intraday levels, you just double click and go to false here and click apply, and that will turn off the shorter time frame levels. And there really aren't a lot of inputs here. There's the cleaner version. I'll move this out of the way of just the daily support and resistance. You can change the color of the higher time frame and the lower time frame lines. And there's a maximum look back setting here. I find that I don't need to look back more than 30 days to have the relevant support and resistance. And this all loads up in arrays, so it's good to limit the amount of data you put into this indicator so it stays fast. That's why that's there. And then, like I said before, this isn't session relevant. This is just the start time on your chart and the end time right off your chart. And I always load up 24 hours of data, though, so it can look at the overnight session as well. So that's basically it. And here's the euro with the intraday levels taken off. So if you just want to look at the longer term levels, there's a nice one here with that confluence of a couple days of resistance and also the CCI triggering there. So I hope you've enjoyed learning about this indicator and that you find it useful in your trading.